And we are live. Good afternoon, everyone. I am here with the beautiful, just lovely me. How's everyone doing? I'll give everyone a chance to come in the room. How you feeling, sis? How you doing?
I'm doing okay.
I appreciate having an opportunity for you to come up here, talk to you a little bit, just
Thank
discuss
you.
a few things.
Yes,
I know you specialize in things when it comes to therapy and trauma for kids. You speak very well about that.
right. Speaking with the childhood trauma and the mental development, and basically how it affects us as adults. Yes.
Absolutely. I'm gonna wait a few minutes for everyone to get in, but let me see. We have one watching. That's what I love about the afternoon. If you want to do a live and it's just a brief one, or you want to get it out the way, you have something going on later on, you do your
Right.
live, they'll watch it later.
Right.
Everyone coming in the chat, if you could hear us, please type in yes. I have the beautiful, just lovely me. Hello, Deborah Rice. How you doing, sis? Okay, it went from 2 to 13. Okay. Brenda, hello. Good afternoon, sis. Um, so I know that throughout, and I'm just letting everybody know in advance. I don't know if they want to leave the room or how they would feel. I'm not speaking on the LaTruth saga right now. I am speaking on things that are very educational and helpful to people. And Just Lovely Me also is a upcoming content creator that has been covering different things. Well, starting to cover different things soon. But she has also been working hard to clear Kevin of the accusations that he's been falsely accused of. And we'll get into that a little bit later on her platform. So if you have not subscribed to her, please make sure you do. She's on my community. But we wanted to speak on a few things. And I know throughout this whole saga, the narc word has been thrown around. And there's two different type of narcs if people do not know that. And I'm going to ask just lovely me, what are those two narcs and what's the difference in them?
Well, there's a lot of different forms of narcs.
Okay, so it's
Um,
more than two.
Oh yeah, it's different forms of narcissism. One of them is the covert, and the covert narcissist is it's the one I think a lot of people go unnoticed with this one. It's the one that seems normal, may even seem nice. Um, you don't really expect this person to be problematic, or if they're ever in a situation or someone is mad or angry towards them, you would more so see them in the form of the victim. That would be the covert narcissist. A lot of people they may know or may not know, but a lot of narcissists are formed through traumatic events throughout childhood and their developmental stages of life. And a lot of these traumatic situations go unnoticed, or they don't
Wow.
receive the necessary healing and things in that sort. And that's what a lot of narcissists come from, unhealed trauma.
Oh, it
So,
starts from, sorry, just a
uh-huh,
question for you. I want to
okay.
elaborate on, sis. So it starts from a childhood trauma, or it could start from.
most
Well,
more
childhood, I
than
mean, childhood development. Like you have
yes,
narcissism in your family.
right.
Okay.
More than likely, a narcissist is through they develop this through traumatic experiences uh in early stages. Yes.
Wow.
Yes. So, I'm not sure, but I break it down like this. PTSD. Everybody's familiar with PTSD, especially if you know somebody from the military that might have went to war. Most of the time, PTSD is dealing with one traumatic experience. Then you have complex PTSD, and complex PTSD is when you have different forms of traumatic experiences. So when you have a narcissist, you're dealing with someone who's had a lot of different traumatic experiences throughout childhood development, and sometimes they can conform towards narcissism, or sometimes you can have a child who could probably maybe try to go against, conforming towards narcissism. Um, but yes, most of the time it's because they have a lot of traumatic situations that they have yet to heal from. A lot of people say that the best thing you can do is run from a narcissist, which is very wise. A lot of people have the understanding that you can't necessarily heal from being a narcissist. Me personally, I do question that theory a little bit. I think that there's a possibility, but the chances are more extreme, and I think a lot of people, whether you're a narcissist or not, whatever traumatic experiences you have, it'll be left to you to want to change your understanding. So it's solely up to the narcissist. Um, but, due to them being a narcissist, of course, they have had effects on other people's lives. And, them actually changing is not something you necessarily want to gamble or wait for.
Okay. And so my thing is being able to, and open mind says most
Most
parents create
definitely.
narcissism. Yep.
Yes.
A whole phrase now.
A lot of mental conditions they are genetic as well. They can be, like, there was a disorder that I spoke of the other day. A lot of traumatic events that we have, especially in the Black community, slavery is one. A lot of these traumatic situations, they take on the form as information within your genetic system, genetic information. And so a lot of this is transferred through generation to generation as well. So yes, narcissism is genetic as well. It can be.
Okay. How do you know? And I have a question in regards to like the narcissist person that tries to switch. They try to create this whole situation in fantasy world, and like being in a relationship with a narc, or a parent, sibling, whatever. When you meet these type of people, like you said, you should run and distance yourself from them. But
Right.
how do you know if you're being got by a narcissist? Like what's the how can you tell? Like are they nice? Are they friendly? And when it's bad, it's bad. What happens when they're upset with you?
Well, sometimes, when you're meeting people, and I don't like to hold people against, if something happened in my past or anything like that. So you don't want to hold people accountable for those type of things. But of course, there are clear signs. What I would say first is identify boundaries within yourself. Sometimes you don't even have to get that far to notice if somebody is a narcissist or not in order to realize whether they should be in your life or not. If you have your own set boundaries and you stand on your own boundaries, uh, you don't necessarily have to look for signs in someone else. You found the signs within yourself, and that's the most important part.
Right. Facts. I
Yes, by
understand that.
overpraising them, usually narcs can be overachievers. Yes, that is a form of narcissism as well, especially when you have a parent who wants to be, who sometimes they have a favorite child or, um, it. I forgot the term for it, but it's the child of the spotlight, and so when you have that, that can also cause a form of depression within that child as well. So a lot of this is traumatic towards this person because the overachiever, and they're having to be at a certain point, or they're the spotlight. These things can affect the child in a certain form, in many different forms. So it's not
Self
always the
esteem.
same response.
Yeah. So this is what I was gonna say. So we know that there's many different types of arts and different behavior and the traits can come from the gene from your parent. You can inherit it, or
Right,
it can happen over time due to the abuse and what you endure.
right.
Um, if you spot these type of behaviors, like you said, the best thing to do is try to get away or do not
From a
inject.
narcissist, yes.
Mhm.
If you are not, if you are not in any profession to like help with anything of that sort, I would because they are manipulative, abusive, they can take a negative effect on you, which can cause trauma within yourself as well. So once you see that they're narcissistic, run for the hills. That's the wisest thing.
And then speaking from a childhood trauma perspective, like
Right.
just children that go through this at their child early on during childhood, they develop these traits and they might not even realize they have it, right?
Right, because a narcissist, uh, think of this like this. A lot of narcissistic people or highly toxic people, they kind of give off the behavior of a toddler. So they have
Hmm.
like a toddler syndrome, is what I would call it.
Okay, hold on one moment, sis. Give me 1 second. Yeah, bring that back here. Hey, sis, I'm sorry about that. I had to open the door.
That's okay.
So during the journey of dealing with this and relationships, and I'm not speaking about a personal experience because I don't think I've ever had um, had one in my family, but I
Right.
think I've experienced it in my personal life. Like I think we all have at one point or another. And if
Right.
we haven't,
A lot of people may have narcissistic traits, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're narcissists.
okay.
Right.
And Tiff said I was married to one for 24 years and I never knew
Right. And
the
that's
traits
very
it was
possible.
at first.
Right.
Wow. And sorry, I was running up some steps. Um, I want to go from that to, I think before I left off, I said something about childhood trauma.
Right.
And that's one of the many things that you're very passionate about, and I think that's where we both morally in line at as
Right.
well.
Right.
I've spoke up for the kids and things like that based off of the story that I've been covering for over a year now. And
Um.
go ahead, sis.
Oh no, you're fine. Oh, I'm sorry. It's probably my phone that beat.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
You gotta mute one of your TV or your phone, I think,
I
because they
probably
have an
need to do.
echo. Okay,
Okay.
there you go. But childhood traumas, and people may not realize it, they impact the people that your kids become, even yourself and who you are today. And it's very important that you go through therapy, you do whatever it is necessary for you to heal. Because if you have not healed from that childhood trauma, that is going to show in your everyday reactions, interactions with people, with your children, with your job. You're going to feel like you're under attack spiritually, mentally, and it's going to be draining. So it is so important that you receive the help that you need, that is necessary for you, even mentally. You will put yourself in a mental prison because you think everyone is after you. What do you think about how important it is about the childhood traumas and receiving therapy for that, and how it could encourage the behaviors as an adult as you get
Well,
older?
I think it's very necessary for us to especially in our community, start to identify things as a whole so that a lot of things could slow the progression of mental health issues,
Hmm.
and possibly make a reverse. A lot of things that we categorize as tradition or normal or um, our environments and things and such like that. A lot of these things, they, um, as a majority, we end up conforming to or finding regular or understanding. A lot of these things kind of affect us traumatically, and we're unaware of those things as well. Uh, so when you have things that we call, excuse me, normal or something that we're just used to, if we scope over these things, we're still going to have the ongoing effects of trauma. For instance, I'll
Hmm.
give the example. You know, a lot of us, we don't like it, but we get used to it as kids. Uh, our peers are our where they'll make fun of your shoes or they'll make fun of your hairstyles, and then you have these effects in the moment that you're not necessarily able to identify. You get what I'm saying? You either move on from it or it ends up making
Hmm.
you sad. But either way, this has become a trauma because it's made an idea within your mind, and it was an unmarked question. You get what I'm saying? So what
Yep.
happens with this is solely dependent on how you allow it to affect you. Well, a lot of people who receive this as a negative form in trauma, it can affect them badly. But we know it's not okay to make fun of others, right? But because
Right.
we know, we'll say, well, that's what kids do, or that's what we do. You know what I'm saying? But that's one of the simplest things that
Causes
you
trauma early on.
right. And so
Hmm.
you're either going to, if this has happened to you, you're either going to be one to make light of it and actually join in. You're going to conform with that identity, or you're going to be one that's going to be sad about it and be left out. Either way, you're traumatized. Either way, you decide. So this is why you got people on different sides of the tracks as far as this, but both of these peoples are traumatized from it.
Right.
So these conditions, especially through the childhood development, they're not identified, they're not necessarily explained except for it's okay, they're making fun or they're just jealous. But so we're giving those responses, but we're not giving the full responses within to actually heal and understand, how this is an effect on us, and how we can continue on and progress in a healthy state without it affecting us.
Absolutely. It's kind of like a child comes to their parent and they say they're being bullied because of their shoes or the way they dress.
Right.
And the parent says, well, brush off their feelings. That's just part of life. Kids do things like that. Oh, well, at least you have a house, a roof over your head, you have food to eat. You have everything to be grateful for, when in reality, I think it's an echo, sis. Maybe you have
Oh
like two
goodness.
mics on. One of them got a mute. Um, okay, it's not your mic. You could keep your mic on, but maybe you have like YouTube on and your phone. I'm thinking on your
Let me
TV.
see. No, I'm not sure yet. Let me see something. Go ahead,
Okay.
sis.
Okay, hon. But when that child comes to that parent to let them know what that issue is, and immediately, if you dismiss that issue, that causes trauma right there. Now that child has to continue to go to school this way, and they're being bullied this way. And now, few years from now, this child turns to possibly gang activity, possibly doing some illegal things to get the shoes and the things that they wanted in life. And I know a lot of us work extremely hard. We can't submit to all of our children needs because things are expensive. But you still have to find a way to emotionally cater to those needs as well. And doing so, it's not dismissing their feelings. It's coming to a common ground with this child. That's why it's important that you build your child up. You definitely have to build them up so they not only, when society doesn't accept them and they do decide to become someone wants to bully them, or they have a choice to decide in bullying, anything like that, they take a leadership position and know that no one can talk them out of them feeling low about themselves, causing self-esteem issues within them, or they don't have to they don't have to be like everyone else and dress like everyone else. All these things from a very early age has caused that trauma. And I want to touch back on the boys, our young men in the generations to come. We have grown kids nowadays and we still worry about them. That's our nature as parents. However, loving and being an overcaring mother, sometimes it hinders that child as well. And I know a lot of women last night, they were agreeing as well as they spoke on, they were an overprotective mother. And just lovely me and you spoke earlier. You're like that as well as myself. Are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. So, do you agree, or how do you feel about that when the overbearing mom? Do you feel like some kind of way when we become too overprotective, we hinder our kids or we hold them back in a sense?
Well, I feel like every child or
Mm-hmm.
every person, they take things on within themselves differently. So it could be either way it is effective, but it could be solely dependent on how the child perceives it, right? But what I would say is the reasoning for a lot of us being overbearing are because of the effects of this society. And I think that as adults, there's a lot of things that we're not informed of what's been continuing the cause and the effects, and but so a lot of these things aren't necessarily changed. So the overbearing mother is always something that we have throughout each generation. And so the constant worry of our sons, because we have to get to the root of a lot of these problems, and change our identity socially as a whole, so that we won't have to worry as much, right?
Right. And the thing is, they have the overprotective mother of the son, and I've seen this a lot. And then they have the women competing with their daughters. And there are women out there like that. They look at their daughter as competition the older their daughter gets, and they want to be their friend. And that's where our society needs to wake up at and stop being sleep. Because at the end of the day, you could create a friendship with your child to where your child is comfortable enough to rely on you for that support, rely on you for the right choices that you're going to instill in them and the right answers. You're not going to tell them nothing wrong purposely. And you can have a friendship as well to where they trust you. But the line should not be crossed so much so that you get on their level too much to where the blinders are on and they don't see that you're the parent anymore. And I see females that have made TikToks with their daughters and they're dancing inappropriately on those TikToks. And then when their daughter shows up, you know, I'm not even gonna say pregnant as an excuse. That's why, but your daughter is your friend. And you can be a friend with your child, but there has to be boundaries. And a lot of people don't understand that. And a lot of women this day and age, they want to be their friends. They want to listen to their conversations. They want to laugh and joke about that. And at the same time, it goes too far. How do you feel about that?
I agree. And sometimes when I look at certain things and patterns within parents, um, I more so look at the reasoning behind their thought process, and
Hmm.
and try to get an idea of why do they see things the way they see it, or why do they feel that certain things that they do are okay and things in that sort. And most of the time it's because they are identifying something within themselves uh, that they haven't necessarily healed from or had a full understanding of. Like, you'll get the statement of, I want my child to have everything that I didn't have. So
Yep.
now, as an adult, you become the parent that buys all the updated uh, clothes and the brands and everything like that because you wanted. That is what you felt when you were a child that you did not have, right?
Mm-hmm.
And see, in their eyes, they feel like they've given their child a better life. And sometimes the child can be like the child, depending on the child can be affected either way, right? And but in all reality, what we need to understand as adults is we need mental healing and mental clarity so that we don't necessarily have to worry about giving the child these things or trying to be friends, but we're giving them the mental stability and mental understanding so that they would be able to progress without the need or care for these things and not feel bad about them. And if they do have it, they don't use it to or abuse it or feel like that is all they need in order to be of importance.
Facts.
So
Very well
yeah,
said.
most of the time, us as adults, we raise our children depending on our own traumas and how we perceived it to have effect on us, and that is what we have to heal.
Wow. That was very deep.
Mm.
Summed up in a few minutes. Not even a few minutes. But basically, you're saying that, we have to heal within ourselves and stop coming with that. I want to give my child everything that I didn't have. It's okay to want to give your child these things, but at the end of the day, what else is there? What is the logic meaning behind it? And is this healthy? And we
Right.
have to, oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, you were right because most of the time, when you give these children these things, sometimes they can take on the understanding of, let's say for instance, let's just have an example. When they're young, you gave them all the fresh outfits, the fresh shoes, they had all the technology, and then they get to a part in their life when they can't afford this for themselves. So without any of this, they don't have any identity, and thus it causes low self-esteem and depression. They start to question their own self as a person. So what we have to do is we have to realize as parents that even though these things are great, we want to be able to give our children mental understanding that these are the things that I wanted to give you that I did not have as a child, but they are not important to determine who you are as a person.
Oh, okay.
Right. Mhm. That is what we have to change. The
That thought
communication.
process.
Yes,
Hmm.
the communication, the understanding. A lot of the things that affected us as children, most of the time we didn't have clear communication on these things. So we had to gain our own idea and understanding, and that subsequently, um, it had an effect on our own mental perspectives.
Tick for Tess said 100.
Yes.
Yes, I'm blown away. I'm just, I'm like, wow. But like you said, and I can honestly say for myself, just being honest, it was a culture shock to me. And this is embarrassing, but I'm just gonna be honest. My mom as well provided me with all of the things that I wanted and needed. But she wanted to make up for the absence of my biological father not being there, as well as me and my sister being bullied. Okay. So when I grew up and I had to get these things on my own, it was a shock to me. I was like, wow, I have to do this, I have to do that, because I was used to those things being taken care of. Even though she explained to me why, and I understood why she worked hard and she provided me with these things, it still was a different kind of feeling having to work for these things on my own. And I didn't, unfortunately, pick up that behavior pattern at an early age to say, okay, my mom is working, keyword working hard to get me these things. All I saw is these nice things were provided for me. So, it definitely was a shock for me when I had to do it. He said,
Yeah.
yes, that was deep. Yes, you did definitely speak. You
Thank you.
speaking some knowledge.
Mm.
So being a mother of two sons,
Right.
what are you wanting to teach your sons going into the teenage age? What are the important things you instill in your boys?
The most important thing that I try to get them to understand is critical analyzation. Ask yourselves twice. Always make sure that whatever you are doing, that or whatever you see that is not necessarily influencing you, do not be easily conformed. Um, be okay with your own identity, and if it is, even if it is different or not necessarily a part of the crowd, um be accepting of that, because uh the people who are most accepting of themselves, even if they're not sure of themselves, are the ones who have a better chance of being the leader, you know. We need more
Fact.
leaders. We need more people who are okay with identifying with who they are and not who society wants them to be.
And that is some great advice to definitely give some young men, you know. Um my advice that I give my son as well is be who you are no matter what, and stand in that and own it. And most importantly, don't fall for everything. Don't fall for what makes sense to you. And by falling for, I mean when someone is telling you something, if you feel like it resonates with you, if you feel like it's the genuine answer that is coming from them, then that aligns with you. That's okay for you to take that in. But don't necessarily feel like you have to follow the crowd or listen to what everyone else is saying. Believe that. Be your own person. And that's who he is. He's always been his own person.
Right. We
Um,
need We need more children to be able to identify with themselves and not necessarily with what everybody sees of them. I tell everyone, uh, for instance, we all have mothers, we all have fathers, and we have siblings. To my mother, I am her daughter. To my father, I am his daughter. To my brother and sister, I am their sister. But who am I to myself is the most important thing. That is what we have to figure out. Who are you? And
Fact.
whoever you are, that's who you become, regardless to how anybody receives it.
Absolutely. Did you get my message?
Yes.
That definitely is absolutely correct. So I'm gonna switch over a little bit to tonight's live that I'm gonna be on your platform, and we're gonna be reviewing a live from Kevin Wesley, right?
Right.
Okay, can you explain a little bit about that? Just
Well, I think what has been going on a lot is a lot of people are making judgment about this family as a whole, Brother LaTruth and Brother Kevin, based upon speculations of other content creators and not necessarily getting to see these people for themselves. So I do have a clip of bro. I have a few of them, but we could see how many we want to do. But I wanted to do a video review on one of them, also giving my maybe a different
observation.
example. You get what I'm saying? But basically, so
Hmm.
people can get an idea of the wisdom that he has placed out, and go from there.
Absolutely. So I would like each and every one of you to support the live. Later on, we will be going live on her platform. We're going to be reviewing, like she just said, some content from Kevin, and we're going to be giving our opinion observation. But we are also going forward are going to continue to not only speak on things that go on that affect our community and give our opinion on it. Like a lot of people kind of was like, oh well, Krishan Rock don't bother me, but it should bother you. She's what your kids plug into. She is what your kids see. She's trending. So how could it not bug you or impact you whether you feeling bad for her or not? She's still, yes, she's human, but sometimes turning a blind eye is the worst thing we could do. Now, speaking up about something is necessary. And whether you didn't want to hear it, maybe the next person needed to hear it. So I'm all for speaking up for what's right. And I agree with her when it comes to Kevin and what this family has been through. And we've all rolled 10 toes down for Mr. LaTruth, and he's been vindicated. He's clear. Now we have Mr. Kevin. And he hates when I say that. We have Brother Kevin, who's going through what he's going through with these people continually trolling him. And it's not cool. And she feels the same way as well. So we're going to review some content over there. I would love for each and every one of you to join us over there. What time were you thinking about? If you don't have a specific time, I'll post it on my community.
Yeah, nothing specific right away, but whenever you're ready, we could take some
Okay.
time. I'll probably get the children together and everything, and probably go about maybe 6 o'clock would be good. What you think?
6 o'clock is great. And Tiff
Right.
said, I'm sick of hearing she's still young. Like GF, get out of here. She's acting like an adult and she gets treated as such. People really need to stop with the age BS.
Right.
Yes, absolutely. And that's the thing that SCD. Can you share it on my wall? I sure can. Okay. Yep, I sure will, Tiff absolutely. And also, if you have not subscribed to Tiff please make sure you subscribe to her as well. She's another content creator. Um,
Yes.
but I want to say this. age is nothing but a number. Back in the day, our grandparents married at such a young age. They raised 8, 12, 15 kids. And they keep giving like Anya a pass, saying that, oh, she's just 31. Give her time. 31 with 4 children that does not have the time to wait for her to grow up. So when they say that to me, it's just like I just I don't understand it. Like, would you give your kid time to do whatever they please, then run around as though the kids are the last priority? I don't think that's fair to the kids at the end of the day. And if they want to turn a blind eye to it, then that's on them. But at the end of the day, I'm going to always speak up for what I feel in my heart is the right thing to do, no matter what anyone else feels or thinks.
Exactly. You're right. And her being young is not an excuse for me either. It's really not.
Yeah. I had my son when I was 25 years old. So I'm going to say she get it right when she 40 and her kids graduate from high school. What would that matter then if she got it right at 40? Her kids will be out of school. That time frame makes a huge difference. And it's not about her getting it right for herself. It's about her getting it right for those children that did not ask to be here. And you would think someone with a
That's
master's
right.
degree would have it together. They had it together to go through college. They had it together to get through their bachelor's, associates, all of that. She got it together to get through it all. She was
Right.
flexing the plaques yesterday, flexing them diplomas. So how can we sit up and say she can fail in the most important area of her life? The most important thing is mom first over anything, over any diploma. But we should praise the she's gotten her diplomas back. Come on, y'all. Let's make it make sense. What's more important? She is selfish. Absolutely. Because it's always about her, never about them. Like it should be. When you become a parent, it is no longer about you, it's about the babies. Absolutely. And that's what I wasn't gonna speak on her today, but I'll briefly speak on it. And I know that some people across the street will probably get upset, but I'm going to feel how I always feel when it comes to the kids. Now, like Anya can do as she please, but when it comes to the children, you have to draw a line. How far will you go? And doing the things that you do, like we spoke on earlier, those are traumatic things that traumatizes those kids. And not only your behavior, it's impacting those kids and what they think is okay, what they think healthy love is. Healthy love is not jumping from one relationship to another without healing. You have to heal. And women don't understand how so important it is for you to heal. If you have not healed, you are walking into that next relationship with all that extra luggage, all that extra heartache, hurt, pain, insecurities. You bringing it with you. And it's going to be the same thing with that relationship, if not worse. What do you think?
No, I totally agree with you. I'm sitting here saying right and I'm on mute.
Oh,
Yes, I definitely agree with you.
but hello, Rich Talks Media. Hope all is well with you. Um, let me see if I missed any. I don't think I missed anyone. Please make sure you smash that like button. We're gonna post later. We're thinking 6 o'clock. Make sure you join me on Just Lovely Me later on. And we definitely will be having further discussions as well. But I want everyone to take in the fact that this story definitely has came to an end. Everyone is waiting on a divorce and everyone has formed their opinion whether they agree it happened or it didn't. Now, we have Kevin, and we still have people trolling him. And I cannot stress this enough. It's like, why does the story close now? Why isn't people speaking up for Kevin? That's what I don't understand, and it bothers me. And I went back and forth like, okay, it's just a few people, but it's more and more things being made. And how would you feel if people came online and they harassed you in your job and what you did, and they put out bad accusations about you, and your family had to see that, your friends had to see that?
Right.
You would feel some sort of way as well. And that's why we are here. We're content creators, but we have feelings as well, and we have sons. And we would not want anyone to feel the way this family has felt within this year and 4 months time frame. They have been ridiculed. And it's not a good place to be in. And we've all felt like that at one point. Most of us content creators or people in their regular lives.
That's true. That's right.
So you have any final thoughts on anything you would like to say, sis? I know
No,
this
I
was
just
a
thank you
brief
so
one.
much. I just thank you so much for having me up here. I thank everybody for taking the time out. I really appreciate it.
Aw, we appreciate you being up here. We appreciate you sticking up for Brother Wesley. I really do. You are definitely a powerful voice. You have me. You
Thank you.
are.
Thank you.
And I think you will definitely have a lot to offer as a content creator.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Um, let me see. So everyone hit the like button, and we will be getting back with you later. We appreciate you for joining us. This was just a brief kind of introduction, getting to know her, not personally just yet, but aw, and here come Kevin. Thank
Hey,
y'all so much.
Kevin.
They can't seem to get their own way. Kevin be so funny. Now, when Kevin talk, I be dying laughing. Kevin, but it's the truth. People will speak on you and carry your name and don't know anything about you to find their way. And it's the people that
Right.
speak on you that don't have the attraction until they do.
Right.
So that's why you have sisters. And we your sisters, Kevin.
That's right.
Yep. So we got you. So everyone, make sure you join us later. And we will be checking out now. Take care, everyone. Much love. Bye.